Right now, charges are filed against a student lifeguard in Cambridge accused of recording video of two underage girls.
As the critically acclaimed play Hamilton makes its way to Madison, scammers are already trying to take advantage of ticket demand.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Thanks for staying with us, everyone. Charlotte is off tonight. This just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. Dozens of teachers have signed a letter asking the Madison Metropolitan School District to address the harm caused by a statement made by the district's head of security.
Last week, two boys were arrested for the alleged sexual assault of a female student in a bathroom after school at Madison East High School. In an interview with News 3 Now about security during the alleged sexual assault, the district safety and security coordinator Joe Ballas said, quote, "Our buildings are full of kids and kids will be kids. As terrible and tragic as the incident sounds, I would just ask that people be patient. Our schools are very safe, but there are incidents that are going to happen from time to time," end quote. Now, East's principal Mike Hernandez sent out an apology for Ballas' statement Tuesday, and the Rape Crisis Center said they were deeply troubled by the phrase. The letter was signed by 73 staff members. A student is still enrolled in the Cambridge School District after deputies say he recorded video of two minors without their consent.
Court documents show 18-year-old Avery Kendall was charged with 2 felony counts of capturing an intimate representation without consent. Rose Schmidt is here to explain what the court records show. Rose?
Yeah, so Dane County documents show a victim described feeling embarrassed and offended after she found a cell phone in a locker room at a Cambridge school that was recording her. Both victims in this case say they did not consent to being recorded. Court documents show 18-year-old Avery Kendall was a lifeguard at Cambridge Elementary School in February. Deputies were called there after a female lifeguard says she needed to change her clothes, and while undressing, she found Kendall's phone pointed up at her recording. Documents show the victim told deputies she stopped that recording and deleted it, but deputies say they found a different video on Kendall's phone in which a second female victim had been filmed while changing in various stages of nudity. Deputies say you can see Kendall grab that phone and turn off the recording after the girl left the room. The school district of Cambridge confirmed Kendall is still enrolled. The superintendent released a statement to News 3 Now saying in part, "We can assure you that even if we cannot provide the public with details, whenever an issue of student safety is brought to our attention, we take prompt and remedial action designed to address the concern." When deputies asked Kendall about that video, court documents show he said he did not know anything about it and could have hit the wrong button and actually accidentally made that video. I spoke briefly on the phone today with Kendall's lawyer, who told me he could not offer further comment on this situation.
Rose, thank you.
3 people are dead after a domestic incident at a home in Outagamie County. A 35-year-old man, a 3-year-old girl, and a 3-month-old girl were all found dead inside. Seymour police responded to the incident about 11:20 last night. After repeated attempts, officers were not able to make contact with anyone inside that home, and an emergency team entered at about 8 this morning. Police are still on the scene investigating. A man will serve life in prison for killing a 21-year-old and hiding his body. A judge sentencing Daniel Leeske today. The Marshall man accused of killing 21-year-old Jesse Faber back in 2017. Faber of Sun Prairie. Leeske will have the possibility of parole in 20 years. Prosecutors say he shot Faber 5 times and then hid his body in a storage unit in Rio. Leeske's fiance pleaded guilty to helping move the body. She was sentenced in April to 10 months in jail, 6 years probation.
Just into the newsroom this afternoon, investigators find at least 7 students and staff members report being sexually harassed by the husband of UW-Whitewater's former chancellor. Our Madeline O'Neill is back from Whitewater with more on the investigation. Maddie?
Well, former Chancellor Beverly Copper resigned in December after sexual harassment claims on campus against her husband, Alan Pete Hill. Today, the university has released hundreds of pages of attachments and an investigative report backing up those allegations, while also saying there's no direct evidence Chancellor Copper knew of or facilitated her husband's behavior.
It's like a small community, but also a big community.
UW-Whitewater senior Clay Holst loves his university, but the resignation of his former chancellor Beverly Copper has taken some getting used to.
It is a little weird, that it happened, halfway through like the senior year.
In December, Copper left amidst sexual misconduct allegations against her husband, Alan Pete Hill, who acted as an associate of the chancellor at the university before he was banned from campus last June. The UW system called for an investigation, which found credible evidence that Hill sexually harassed university students and employees employees on campus, with reports from between 7 and 10 women. An investigative report says there's no evidence Copper interfered with the investigation or retaliated against women making those claims. But investigators suggest Copper had a blind spot when it came to her husband's actions and readily and uncritically accepted Hill's denials. A statement from the UW system says President Ray Cross immediately called for investigations and aggressively acted on the information, saying, quote, after he was briefed on the findings of this report, he counseled Chancellor Copper to resign. She did, and the report speaks for itself. UW-Whitewater's interim chancellor is also speaking out, saying in a statement, the release of these documents may cause concern, and I understand this may be a difficult time for some of you. I hope we can focus our attention on moving forward and the healing process for all concerned.
You do have to follow up to find out the truth, good or bad.
Holst says Copper had a good eye for the school, but he's keeping his gaze toward the future.
Sad to see her go for any circumstance, but I'm excited to see what the future holds for the University of Whitewater.
Investigators were able to interview Copper, but Hill did not respond to investigators' requests.
Governor Tony Evers has ordered flags to be flown at half-staff on Monday in honor of the Iowa County District Attorney who passed away this week. Larry Nelson suffered a pulmonary embolism at his office. He served Iowa County for 17 years. He was 59 years old. A barn in Dane County is said to be a total loss. That barn, located on Highway B in the town of Pleasant Springs, 9 fire departments were called out and stayed about 5 hours on scene. The farmers there were able to save their animals, but everything else was lost. It is unclear how much that damage will cost. The cause remains under investigation.
Let's get a check on the weather now. Gary Canolti has a look at your weekend forecast. Gary?
Oh boy, getting that sunshine back today. Those temperatures rebounded very nicely, and it'll be even milder for the upcoming holiday weekend. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. Very few clouds across the state of Wisconsin. All the cloudiness from yesterday now out over Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio and moving away from us. And Doppler track is free of precipitation as well. Current temperatures range from the mid-40s to around 50 near Lake Michigan, to the upper 50s, close to 60 here in Madison, and in the lower 60s to the west of Madison. And as we check out winds, they are rather brisk through much of southern Wisconsin, but notice they are lightening up to our north and to our west here in Madison. Sustained winds about 16 miles per hour. A few places, especially closer to Lake Michigan, seeing some stronger wind gusts, 33 miles per hour in Milwaukee and 36 mile per hour wind gusts this hour in Kenosha. Skies will be clear overnight. Temperatures will drop to the mid-30s by tomorrow morning, but tomorrow expect mostly sunny skies. Even milder day with a high temperature of 67, and we could be close to 80 degrees by Easter Sunday. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Thank you, Gary. An emergency slow no wake order was put in place on the Wisconsin River in Columbia County. The area is bracing for a major flood stage of the river. It's expected to crest tomorrow. Residents living in low-lying areas should monitor water levels and prepare with things like sandbags to protect homes.
American Family Insurance expanding a research partnership with the UW, investing $20 million in UW data science initiatives, including $10 million in research over the next 10 years. There is also a $10 million endowment to create the American Family Insurance Data Science Institute on campus. The funding will help progress studies in fields as different as artificial intelligence, genetics, drug development, material science, and business.
UW-Madison students are working with a Wisconsin brewing company to learn about beer making. Wild Lager is going to be the 5th beer released in the Campus Craft Brewery program. The beer is going to be used with yeast that was discovered for the first time in North America near Sheboygan by a UW-Madison professor of genetics. The new strain of yeast is harder to brew, and because of certain sugars and proteins, it can create an inefficient brewing process and an overly sweet beer. But by evolving a new protein in the yeast, Campus Craft Brewery was able to produce a dry, crisp beer.
Now what we're doing is we're taking the yeast component and tracing back a very original strain of yeast, perhaps that began the lager yeast 500 years ago. That's some type of hybrid, and it's really interesting because the lager that we're creating today is going to have a Belgian spin to it. It's going to have a little more fruitiness and the flavor, a little more complex contribution to the overall beer.
We have a list of the other beers developed in the craft beer program online on our website at channel3000.com. We're learning more tonight about a $750,000 grant being given to the UW to help create new dairy beverage products. The Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, or WEDC, announced the grant yesterday to help build what they're calling a beverage innovation center on campus. There, they'll work to create new dairy products that don't need to be refrigerated like these. It's an expensive process which includes rapidly heating up the dairy and then packaging it in sterile containers. The benefit is the products would stay fresh for months. Organizers say it's very popular in Europe, but has been slow to catch on here in the U.S.
It's not your everyday cookie cutter hotel. It has just opened its doors along the revitalized East Wash corridor in Madison. Hotel Indigo made its debut April 11th in the 900 block of East Washington Avenue in the old Mott's Paint Warehouse. This vibrant boutique-style hotel has plenty of splashes of color as a tribute to Mott's. It also incorporates photos of people like Frank Lloyd Wright, Vel Phillips, Georgia O'Keeffe, and others. Guests will feel the city's history all around them.
We rehabbed this historic building. There's a lot inside, like the guest rooms with the concrete columns, the concrete flooring, the brick. We couldn't touch that. We just kind of had to clean it up, seal it. So it is a part of the character of the building, and it's part of the character of the hotel.
Hotel Indigo opened last week. You can book rooms at hotelindigomadison.com. The restaurant, by the way, it'll be called the Palette Bar and Grill, and that'll open on April 29th.
But one of the most popular musicals out there is coming to Madison.
But the Overture Center has a warning for people hoping to score tickets to Hamilton. What staff are saying. That's next on News 3 Now at 6. As you've probably heard, the popular musical Hamilton is coming to Madison.
But don't let the allure of the stage lights blind you into buying fake tickets. Our Keely Arthur shares how scammers are already out there and how to avoid them.
Officials here at the Overture Center say Hamilton is the biggest musical they've ever had here. But with all that excitement comes the scammers.
It's a huge title to get, and we're extraordinarily excited.
Lex Poppins has served as the VP of Marketing and Sales at Overture for years, and in all his time, nothing has gotten the hype quite like Hamilton.
That's the first question out of their mouth usually.
when is it coming and how can I get seats?
Scammers know that's the hot question, and they are preying on fans of the Tony Award-winning musical.
These aren't good people.
Recently, this post, claiming to come from an official Hamilton Facebook page, entered onto many Madison area residents' feeds, urging folks to act fast, claiming to have the final few tickets left. But Overture Center officials say it's fake. They've reported it to Facebook. Unfortunately, though, they don't think this is the only one out there.
It's almost like playing whack-a-mole. Even if you can get one taken down on Facebook, there are so many independent sites that we can't really control.
Jess Shuknicht is in charge of all things ticket sales. He says this isn't just a problem with Hamilton.
Every week. We have patrons that show up to shows and say, hey, I didn't get my tickets. They give us their order number, but it's not our system. It's an order number that doesn't tie to our system whatsoever.
To protect yourself, only purchase tickets through Overture's official website, telephone number, or head over to the box office. If you do fall victim to a scam, see if your credit card company will refund you the money.
Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't.
Right now, the only way to get tickets is if you're a season ticket holder. If you haven't gotten tickets yet, don't fret. There'll be plenty of shows. Just make sure you do your part and get the right tickets.
Because we won't have it for just 1 week, we'll have it for 3.
It's unclear exactly when single tickets will go on sale for Hamilton. Officials here say definitely sometime after May. In Madison, Keely Arthur, News 3 Now.
And for more details on how to purchase tickets properly, go to our website, channel3000.com.
Just ahead, a long overdue warm-up highlights your holiday weekend. Temps will flirt with 80 on Sunday, and Gary will have all the details. Your first alert forecast just ahead. All right, we got all those Easter egg hunts and all those things planned for the weekend, and Gary's providing a pretty nice forecast to go along with it.
Oh, you bet. Getting the sunshine back was the first part of it. Switching the winds around to the south by Easter Sunday will be the second part of the warm-up, and by then, temperatures could be up close to 80 degrees. Let's start out by taking a look, though, at what we looked like 1 year ago in Madison. We had snow on the ground. This is a picture from outside the Orpheum Theater, courtesy of Jeff in Madison. And boy, seeing slushy snow this time of year, you don't want to see it. But look at what a difference a year makes. Today, sunshine statewide, and that allowed temperatures to climb into the 50s and 60s away from Lake Michigan. And you can see on Doppler track, no snow, no rain, no precipitation at all. That bodes well for the holiday weekend. So for Easter Sunday itself, we're looking for a pretty nice day overall. Early in the morning, people heading out to sunrise church services, 46 degrees will be your wake-up temperature. By lunchtime, temperatures should be in the upper 60s with partly sunny skies. And look for high temperatures to top out close to 80 degrees by late afternoon. So a very nice Easter Sunday in store for southern Wisconsin. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville. No clouds around there. The WISC Skycam looking out toward the west. Sunny skies showing up there. Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. It's a beautiful evening on the state capitol square. And as we check out our almanac for today, our high temperature of 59 and the low temperature of 37, right where we should be. And our current conditions show a temperature of 58 in Madison with mostly sunny skies. Winds out of the north-northeast at 16 miles per hour, but the air is very dry. Humidity at 24%. Current temperatures range from the 60s west of Madison to the 40s near Lake Michigan and Milwaukee and in downtown or in Chicago. But that lake breeze from Lake Michigan, because the winds are out of the north, only goes in a few miles. Once you get inland a little ways, temperatures jump up into the 50s to the 60s, and they'll be about 10 degrees warmer for tomorrow. Weather track, you can see very little in the way of cloudiness in our part of the Midwest. The storm system from yesterday has moved off to the east. You can see some strong to severe thunderstorms moving through the Carolinas and through the mid-Atlantic states down into Florida. But as that system heads off to the east, high pressure is building in from the west, and that's going, and you just see the expanse of the clear skies there. So that means we should see a very nice weekend. And look at the difference in temperatures. While we're feeling nice with temperatures in the upper 50s, see 60s, 70s, and even some low 80s out to the west of us. So a sign of things to come. Tonight, mostly clear skies, still on the chilly side, low dropping to 34, but tomorrow will be a mostly sunny and milder day, high temperature topping out at 67, and Easter Sunday, even nicer, partly sunny skies, high temperature reaching 78 degrees. As we look at future track, very little in the way of cloudiness for tonight or tomorrow, lows mid-30s for tonight, high temperatures tomorrow, upper 60s, few places could touch 70 near the Illinois state line. Tomorrow night, temperatures stay in the mid-40s. Easter Sunday, maybe a few more clouds. High temperatures, though, mid-70s to around 80 degrees. The 7 to 10-day forecast, a little cooler for Monday with some shower and thunderstorm chances. Tuesday, Wednesday, a little cooler, and then temperatures warming back up to the upper 60s by the end of the week. Some shower and thunderstorm chances for the following weekend.
A look into the bright future for Badger men's hockey and, of all places, Orange Skoldsvik, Sweden. The story's coming up in sports. The Badger football team is just wrapping up a spring practice at Camp Randall. There's great anticipation because we're finally going to hear from new hotshot quarterback Graham Mertz today. It's the first time Mertz will speak to the media since he arrived on campus as an early enrollee. We'll hear from him tonight at 10. One of the big stories this spring has been rebuilding the offensive line. The Badgers lost 4 of their 5 starters to graduation. And while Tyler Biadasz is back to anchor this year's line, there's a lot of competition for the other starting spots. We've been keeping our eye on number 68. That's fifth-year senior David Moorman. Offensive coordinator Joe Rudolph says he's getting closer to deciding on a starting 5.
I'm just really looking for these guys to compete. I want to see who wants it. You know, I don't know that. I'd say the guy that's having the best spring so far is David Moorman. He's busting his butt, man. And he's the one guy to me that's kind of saying, I want this, you know, and there's a lot more time left. So we'll see. We'll see how it continues.
The Bucks head to Detroit for Game 3 of their NBA playoff series tomorrow night at 7. The Bucks put up 2 impressive wins in Milwaukee. Now they'd like to duplicate that on the road, sweep the series in 4 straight, and sit back and wait for the winner of the Celtics-Pacers series in the second round. The fans can talk all they want about a sweep, but you won't hear the players saying it, at least in public. Cue up the playoff cliche soundbite from Brooke Lopez.
Obviously, we have the greater picture of what we want to achieve, but, you know, again, it's a boring answer, but we want to take it one game at a time. You know, it can be extended, long, everything, but, you know, we're just focused on the next game.
We know what's at stake. We know we want to get past the first round. We haven't been yet, but at the same time, there's no pressure on us. As long as we keep doing what we do, play the way we play, be who we are.
Brewers and Dodgers are getting ready for Game 2 of their series at Miller Park tonight. Today, the Brewers sent pitchers Corbin Burns and Alex Petrichka to AAA. They called up Donnie Hart and reinstated Alex Wilson from the paternity list. Little windy at Wrigley Field this afternoon as the Cubs play the Arizona Diamondbacks. Here's an example of what the wind was doing. Chris Bryant's rather innocent-looking fly ball somehow turned into a 2-run double. Turns out that's all the Cubs would need as they won 5-1. Cubs have won 6 out of their last 7. The UW hosted an NCAA men's hockey regional back in 2008. Wisconsin has submitted bids to host a regional in 2021 and 22. The NCAA announced the sites for 2021 today. Wisconsin didn't get one. There's still hope they could host a regional in 2022. But the big news for Badger hockey today comes from Örnsköldsvik, Sweden. That's where they're playing the World Under-18 tournament. Badger recruits had a huge day led by Cole Caulfield. The incoming freshman scored 4 goals and had 2 assists for 6 points as the U.S. beat Slovakia 12-5. That's not all. In addition to Caulfield's big day, future Badger Alex Turcotte had a goal and 3 assists. Owen Lindmark had a goal. And for Canada, another Badger recruit, Dylan Holloway, had a goal in the Canadians' 7-4 win over Switzerland. They've been desperately looking for goal scorers, and maybe they found them in Sweden.
Or was it Örnsköldsvik?
Just like
whatever it was. Sounds like it. Looked like a Gary Canalti fly ball win there at Wrigley, huh? Looked like a Canalti
at least
special.
As long as it ends up in a win. But those winds right now are going to come down. 58 right now in Madison. Those winds still in the 10 to 15 mile per hour range. They'll die down after sunset, but look at those temperatures. 67 tomorrow, 78 on Easter Sunday.
Looking good. We'll see you back here at 10.
Have a good weekend, everybody.